thing about me is I'm gonna drink a fun bevy. It's gonna be in a glass with ice. Yeah, let's crack it. Ooh, I just realized that it matches my shirt too. Get yourself a fun bevy and buckle up because we have some big things to talk about today. I've been a life coach in private practice for 4+ years now, and I work with a lot of women who are navigating self-doubt, burnout, big life transitions, creative blocks, you name it, anything that really makes you feel like you are stuck and you don't know how to proceed. And these are the questions that I come back to myself in my journal when I'm stuck. So pull up your journal, let's chat. Let's start with the question that's going to help you tackle overwhelm. And the question is, what else is true besides fear? Or what action would I take if fear wasn't the one driving the bus? Often I find when we're overwhelmed or stuck in fear or uncertainty, it feels like that's the only thing we're experiencing. And if we take a moment to step back and feel into what else might be true, or lend to this more like spiritual or like visual example of like we're in a bus ride and the different parts of ourselves are all there, right? And when we're stuck in overwhelm, it's like the lens has been narrowed and it's all we can see from. And that's when fear is driving the bus. That's when fear is like, shh, everyone else, shut up. I've got this. Be afraid. Be small. It's all gonna be bad. It's only scary. Okay, would you let your 3-year-old drive the car? I don't think so, right? So what else is true besides fear? What else is true? Oh, you're afraid to quit your job and pursue your business. Totally reasonable fear. What else is true? Oh, that's what you've always dreamed of? Oh, that your earning potential is higher if you start your own business? Oh, that you might be able to collaborate with people you really admire? Great, let's give those other stories a chance in your brain to be true and see what comes from that place. This question allows you to bypass fear's negotiation tactics and connects you more deeply with what you desire and with your intuition. And it helps you imagine what's really possible before fear can edit that story. So start there when you're stuck. The second question, what would my wisest self do in this situation? Now this is an interesting one because it requires a little bit of imagination, but I want you to imagine the calmest, clearest version of yourself. It can be an older version of yourself, maybe you in the future. It could be present you, but calm and clear. A version of yourself that loves you unconditionally and has the clarity to see the big picture of your life. Now I want you to just imagine that version of yourself as another being in the picture. Maybe she's sitting across from you, maybe she's floating above you, maybe you experience her in a totally different way that I can't even imagine. Present that version of yourself with what it is you're struggling with and see what your wisest self has to bring to the table. Often what I find with this exercise with clients is that it presents an answer that's way more gentle than we could have even imagined, and often the answer or the feedback I get from clients is that it's a both and, instead of our human black and white thinking that it has to be one or the other. This is the part of you that's going to remind you that your courage only needs to be 1% larger than your fear in order to take the next brave step forward. And all life is a series of small, brave steps forward. It doesn't have to be one big, dramatic leap to make a change, right? So get in touch with that wisest, truest version of you and see what input she has for you. Okay, question number 3, and I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. What am I pretending not to know? It's gonna be a little bit of a truth bomb moment because we know things that we're not consciously admitting to ourselves, right? Our intuition, our gut feeling, whatever you wanna call it, know things that we don't wanna admit to ourselves. And when we ask ourselves that powerful question, it creates room for the unconscious and the conscious minds to have a bit of a union and a conversation. Often the truth is there and it's whispering, and we just need to stop pretending we can't hear it. Lying to ourselves or ignoring our intuition often leads to a bigger frustration, situation, emotion than it would if we were just being honest with ourselves. Maybe not all the time, but sometimes. The last question we are going to orient towards is, how do I want to feel? And this is kind of a nod to Danielle Laporte's desire map. And what I love about that work is instead of setting goals based on how I want to look or what I want to have or do or be. It's how I want to feel. What's tricky about feeling oriented questions is that we don't want it to get into a vague territory. We actually want it to help us get more dialed in and more specific. So it's easy to say, I want to lose 20 pounds, but oh God, there's a spider just crawling up my umbrella. We're gonna let it be. So we're not trying to get more vague, we're actually trying to get more specific and dialed in. And so asking yourself, how do I really want to feel, is going to allow you to go deeper than a blatant goal, right? So I've been on a weight loss journey the last year. I've lost a little over 45 pounds. And when I set out on this weight loss journey, I actually did not have an end goal in mind. I never said I wanted to lose 50 pounds or I wanted to be at X weight on the scale, mostly because I had been at a higher body weight for so many years that I didn't really know, like I couldn't conceptualize what X amount on the scale would even look like or feel like. And so I didn't want to, part of that for me was just like, I don't know. I don't know what to goal orient towards. I knew that I wanted to feel empowered and I wanted to feel like I could trust myself to make a change. Like those were the things I wanted to feel more than anything else, more than being like, I want to feel healthy. It's like, yeah, that's going to be a byproduct of it. But I wanted to feel like I've got my back and I wanted to feel strong as I age. And those are my whys. So this question is going to help you get in touch with your why, and that's going to be way more motivating than an external, any like external goal factor, because even on days where we don't feel motivated, we can come back to our why. So the thing is about these questions is they're not necessarily going to give you like clean, tidy answers. They're not necessarily going to say, well, figured it out of the mud now, right? They're going to create movement for you. And the more space you create for your truth, the more your next step is going to feel very obvious, and the next step after that. And then you get stuck, you come back to the question, next step becomes obvious, right? Truly, like, these are the questions that I ask myself, and I find them to be kind of the cornerstones of doing some self-coaching work and self-growth work. And so I want to know in the comments what question felt most impactful for you and what question you're going to be journaling on this week. All right. Cheers. I'm gonna enjoy my Olipop and a little bit of sunshine we've got here right now. Please subscribe for more videos that are going to blend personal growth, creativity, knitting, and courage. See you in the next one.